Hey everybody, welcome back to Limitless Recovery. My name is Hoagie and I'm here with the most wanted RN Amanda. We are just going to give you some updates today, go over a couple things. We got some different things on our plates from the last, it's been a while. It's been a while to say the least. So we're going to talk about traveling. She has a lot of, I personally have not traveled much. So I'm going to live vicariously through her and we're going to talk about
Yes.
that. Let's just start with that. Where are you going?
Well, I just got back from a trip in Tennessee. We went to an area sort of close to Gatlinburg, and that was a family trip that I went on. It was my dad's 71st birthday, and we try to do like a family trip every year. And then what's next? I've got a nurse cruise coming up. It's called NurseCon, and it's 3,000 nurses on a boat,
What?
no children. And when I tell you nurses are wild,
But yeah,
crazy
this is
people, we have fun. We have so much fun. This will be my 3rd year going on it. And there's like a comedian, his name is Nurse Blake. He's kind of TikTok famous, and he puts on the cruise. So you also have like stand-up comedy. It's ran by drag queens, like they're the cruise
that's
directors,
awesome.
and the whole thing is just so funny and fun. Oh my gosh. When I get back from that, I'm going to Disney World with my husband.
Nice.
He's never been before, and I went when I was 5 years old, and then I just recently took my mom to Disney, which was like a whole bucket list, dream list thing for me to be able to do, was to take my mom to Disney World, after she took me when I was 5. So that was so cool. We had so much fun, and more fun than I thought I would. I always thought Disney freaks were like nerds. Now I get it. It's so fun.
Disney's
I
for
don't know. Have you
everyone.
ever
Yeah.
been to Disney?
No, no. And I don't know what's the difference. Is there Disney World is in California or is that Florida? One's in Florida and one's in
So
California.
Disney World's in Yep, Disney World's in Orlando, and Disneyland is in Anaheim,
That's
California,
right.
which is like Southern
That's right.
California.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
I've never been to Disneyland. My husband's been to Disneyland, so he loves Disney, but Disney World is like way
The
better
better
to
one.
me. It's for, bigger parks, more parks. Yeah, it's a good time. So I can't wait to take my husband and just like be a little kid for a few days. And then after that, I'm taking my mom to Savannah, Georgia for her birthday.
Ooh,
My brother and I, and it's going to be the three of us going. So that's going to be a hilarious time. We have a lot of fun when it's the three of us, like siblings getting with my mama. Oh,
yeah.
man. Um, and after that, I got invited to speak at a women's retreat, and it's in Kissimmee,
I've
Florida, I
seen that.
believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's gonna be like on they're renting out an area where we'll be kayaking, and like it's not necessarily camping, but like I'm sleeping on a top bunk, I think is what I signed up for. But yeah, I get to be one of the guest speakers at that. So
That's
that's
so
such an
cool.
honor.
Yeah.
Super
Is
cool.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. So how is that? Let's talk about that because I haven't seen I've seen a little bit about it, but so it's in Florida. It's a couple days long, you said?
Yeah, it's like I think it's 4 nights and
Okay.
5 days, and it's just a group of women. It's a group that I met on it's a group I met on Facebook called Sober Sisters,
Okay.
and a lady on there saw me, I think it was on I don't know, but
One of the
the retreat is
socials.
put on by Sober Sisters. Yeah. I don't know much about it. I just know I signed up, and I'm like, "Oh, of course I'll do that," because it's not too far from me. I live like right next to Florida,
Right.
so it won't be too
That'll be
bad.
so
It's
cool.
worth it. So
Yeah, that'll be so
I
cool.
know.
That'll be so cool.
Yep. Those are a few of my little trips coming up in the next couple months. And I'm so just grateful for that because, we haven't really done an update, which we should do, but have recently changed my job around because I think maybe the last time we talked, I had had a panic attack while I was at work.
Yes.
And so I had to change some things. I was not doing well with my schedule, and I'm still working a lot because I'm trying to meet some requirements for my second job. It's very confusing, but I did change some things and with my job, and now I have a lot of flexibility. I get to choose when I work. I'm PRN status, which means that I get to choose my schedule. So I call myself a PRN princess. That's
There we
what
go. There we
we
go.
call ourselves. Yep. How about you? I want to update from you because I know that you've recently started actually seeing some doctors and
Yes,
you got on some medicine. So,
yes.
how's that been
It's
going?
been good. It's been different. I haven't been medicated, since I was like a kid. So they got me on Abilify, Zoloft, and Adderall, which all makes sense. It all makes sense. It works out pretty well. I haven't really had any crazy side effects or anything. The first couple days felt a little wonky
Good.
just because, your dopamine system. They didn't really tell me about the whole, I don't know, there's a whole like serotonin syndrome that you could have. But I mean, I'm on such a low dosage that they didn't really have to bring that up because it's not crazy, but it's good. It's been
Right,
solid.
right.
Like I can honestly advocate that, I'm not big on big pharma, but it's helped tremendously just ground me and keep me. I'm still irritated. I'm still
That's
angry
so
here and
good.
there, but it's more of the brakes and less of the gas, and that's been good. And talking about that, the last time we talked on the podcast, we were talking about like finding new hobbies, and I've been desperately trying to find new hobbies. So I got this,
I've been seeing
yeah.
that. Yeah, I can't wait. Yes.
So
Tell us
yeah,
about
I got a wood burning thing. I have no idea what I'm doing with, but I have some people that do. So I'm gonna
it.
talk to them about it. Anna just got a she just built this birdhouse. I didn't want to post it yet because she's not done. But she's building the birdhouse and we're gonna do some gardening and just we're gonna just do stuff. I mean, we're active now, It's a little bit different than before when I just all I wanted to do is drink all the time, I was just like, all right, I can't wait to like
Yeah.
get off work and drink. And it just really
Yeah.
fucked everything up because I didn't have anything to look forward to other than that. And it was miserable. So it's been nice having new hobbies and trying to
Yeah.
navigate that, especially with again a clear mind for the most part. I'm even considering, or I'm not considering, I am eventually, but I'm trying to cut down right now. I am actively cutting down on smoking. Eventually, I want to be
Yeah.
done with that too, just because. And that's not any shot at anyone else. That's just me personally. I've noticed my consumption's been high at times when, my money's been tight and I can't I can't justify it
Yeah.
anymore, It's not one of those things where now I'm actually medicated properly. I can count on that and I don't need to sit here and say, "Hey, this is going to help me," because maybe it isn't, it isn't as much. It still has benefits, but I'm more open to letting the medicine do the work because there's also, I actually looked it up, Abilify, I believe, it has how do I say this? A chemical reaction essentially, like the serotonin it's trying to produce and regulate interferes with the cannabis use. So like, your levels, yeah, your
Interesting.
levels will be different. So, and I haven't, again, I smoke pretty much not all day, but I mean, I stay a steady pace essentially. I'm not like stoned by any means,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
haven't felt like that, when I wake up in the morning and I take all my medicine, because now I take it at night and I'll take my Adderall in the morning, just so I'm not bombarding my body with everything. It's been nice, but
Yeah.
I haven't felt that chemical fight yet. It says it's there, but again, everyone reacts differently to cannabis too. So some people I could smoke, and feel kind of fine, and the normal. I say normal, but obviously it does affect you. But some people will just go fucking zonky and go weird and want to eat everything, and
Yeah.
so it just really depends on who you are as a person, because and also being open minded enough to be like, all right, well, is it helping me? Like that's one of the Cali sober things. Is it helping me or is it harming me? And now I got to question it because it's like I have tools,
Yeah.
I have tools I haven't had before, so it's been nice. It's been good.
Yeah, I think everybody should experience abstinence at some point in their recovery just
Facts.
to know, what it's like. And I think like you can still some people think abstinence means no medication and I'm like, come on now. Like these are doctors, these are professionals and you're being monitored. It's not like you're just dosing yourself and all that stuff. I think that everybody should experience that. There's a huge freedom in abstinence, I will say. A huge freedom and it's like it replaces that feeling replaces the need for like the need to be high, I think. And but maybe that's not for everybody. Maybe I think a lot of people do use cannabis as medicine and they use it correctly. So As a nurse, I'm even like a proponent for it for pain and cancer patients and stuff like
Yep.
that. I think that it can be a very good thing. But I don't know, there's something really cool about being abstinent in recovery too. So like it may not be for everybody, but I feel like people should experience it and see, what can it harm?
Exactly. And that's true.
Definitely
Yeah.
can.
What can it, and that's one of my arguments is like always with everything. Like how would it hurt you? Like what drinking, for instance, like how does it hurt me? Okay. Well, it fucks entire, I can go on and on, but what if I stop drinking? How does that hurt me? And medically, obviously, if you're drinking a ton, don't just stop. Same with anything. I don't know. When I was in rehab, that was the first time I've been abstinent from anything for 30 days. And let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of emotions all the time.
So
All the time.
early recovery's a roller coaster anyway.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think it matters if you're using, cannabis to like help yourself detox or whatever. Like, that's not, I don't, just, it's going to be a roller coaster. It just is. Early recovery is hard. You just have to stick with it because it gets so much better.
It does.
Yeah.
And like you talking about, that's why it's so fun to see how much you travel because it's like, oh man, I haven't traveled, but it's like
Yeah.
if I buckle down and do it right and keep focusing, like eventually that's on the list. And even actually speaking of, I have, what is it? May 1st, my dad's going on a rally to Arkansas for bikes. Like he rides Harleys. And we were talking about
Oh, cool.
possibly going to that just to ride. It's like 5 hours away, but we can just drive and not ride bikes and go and just check it out. So that's something cool that I can go travel. But if I was drinking, there'd be no way I'd even want to do that. I just be like,
Exactly. Exactly. I was scared to travel because I would be without my drug of choice.
right,
Like whether I know alcohol is like pretty available, but like a lot of the times I was also using heroin. So I was really scared to leave that and not know where I was going to be able to get it because I would start withdrawing. So or could I take it on the plane? I've tried to sneak it on the plane and stuff like that. And that's just super scary. So I never traveled, you know? So it's so fun. And then I wasn't allowed to travel because I was on probation and wasn't allowed to leave the state
right.
without permission. So, now I'm just like
Got a lot of time to catch up for.
everywhere. Yes.
No, and that's
Yes.
something that someone actually brought up. We were asking questions to the community, and someone said like family coping with addiction, like how did they cope with it? And we've touched a little bit on each other's, like my family, I just withdrew, and now I'm finally getting invited to things again, which I was always invited. I was always invited, but they kind of knew I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna come, like I was just gonna go home and drink and do my own thing or blow it off or make an excuse or say I'm gonna go and then the next day I wake up with a hangover and I don't want to go, and instead of recovering, I would drink, like, all right, well now I got the whole day with no responsibility.
Gotta have the hair of the dog.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like sometimes I wouldn't even do it like during the day, but at the end of the night, it's like, all right, this is the time I'd be there. And I could have drank there, but now I'm at home and no one can judge me. So it's just one of those things that like now I'm getting
Yeah.
accepted back into my family. And you were just talking about you had a trip with your family. So like your family's, were you struggling with that in the beginning with the family, like just dealing with you and your atrocities?
Yeah, they did not trust me, and it was like rightfully so. I was literally a thief because I had to support my habit, and the only way that I knew to do that was to steal because there were other options I could have sold myself.
Right.
That was just like not I mean, it's not my favorite, so I like just stole, and a lot of it was shoplifting, but I was not above stealing from my family. Like my mom, poor thing, I've stolen from her purse. I've stolen from like lock boxes and everything. There's a lot of guilt that I deal with now. Because I know they haven't forgotten. Somehow they've forgiven me, but I know they haven't forgotten and I haven't either.
Right.
But I'm just really, I don't think I was invited on trips for the first probably year. Not really even trips, just like invited over. I was invited to Christmas all the time, but it was like, I mean, I probably did go if I was like, even if I was in rehab or something, I would try to show up. But
Right.
I remember one Christmas I got invited to come home and had a night out of rehab, and I spent the night with my sweet grandmother who was like one of my best friends, and I stole her cough syrup and drank it and then got drug tested when I got back to rehab and got kicked out the next day, and it was just like, that was the shit I did during the holidays, or got in a wreck. I decided to relapse on Christmas one year and drank alone in my bedroom. I was living at my dad's house and drank alone in the bedroom and decided to hop in the car and hit reverse and hit all the trees in their driveway, just like wrecked in the driveway. Like that was the stuff I did. Yeah. And we had family in town and they heard it. They were like, oh my God, what just happened outside, And it was just me hitting trees and I drove off. Like
Just me
maybe they
hitting
didn't
trees.
notice.
They'll never know.
Yeah. They'll never know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I was nuts. But those are a few funny stories, but how about I tell you about one story because I was just remembering my dad tried to press charges or threatened, I should say, threatened to press charges if I came on his property one time. Like, this is how much I was not invited, especially with my dad, because he was not an enabler.
Right.
But here's a little 24, 48 hour glimpse into what my life was like when I was like in the grips
Yep.
of mental
Let's
illness
go.
and
Yeah, let's go.
addiction.
Buckle up.
So let's go. Yeah, buckle up. This is a good one. But I decided I was done. I was going to detox off. I was drinking and doing heroin. So I decided that I was going to detox and took myself to the psych ward. And when you go to the psych ward and you check yourself in, they like don't let you out
Yeah.
until the doctor discharges you. You're trapped. But when I found out I wanted to go in and detox with Suboxone or something similar, at least something like that. And they weren't going to give me that. They were just going to give me like phenobarbital and Vistaril or whatever. It was not going to be enough for me. I was like, let me out. I started freaking out. I picked up a chair and threw it. Um, and they had to give me that shot in my butt, the one that like sedates an elephant. Um, and then they had to give me a second one because the first one didn't work on me. I was like hella hyped up,
Ready to go.
crazy. Yes, ready to let me out.
Yeah.
So I did have to stay overnight. Finally, that shot gave me a nap. Um, I took a little nap and I woke up the next morning and they did let me out. I had to leave against medical advice because they were like, we're not like, you're not really like
Yeah. We
safe or
just tranquilized
good.
you
You're
twice.
not good. Yeah,
Oh
like you're not
shit.
good, but we'll let you go because um so I decided I walked down the hill and went to a gas station, but I needed something because I hadn't had anything in like 2 days except for the medication they had given
Right.
me. So I stole a Four Loco out of the cooler and drank it of a gas station, but it mixed with the phenobarbital that the hospital had just given me.
Shit.
So I was fucked up and decided that I was going to go press charges on my dad because he had taken my car away from me and like hid it from me. And I said that he had stolen my car. He hadn't stolen my car. He was just trying to keep me safe because I was getting in wrecks
Right.
left and
Running
right.
over
I was
trees
not
and
safe.
shit.
Yes, I was always inebriated. Always. And so they were just trying to keep me safe, but I was like, "He stole my car." Like, in my head,
Right.
I was like, "He stole my car." I was, like, literally there in my head, so I asked my mom to pick me up and take me to the little it was a little city, police station, but that's where my dad lived in a little city in Alabama, so we went and I knocked on the window, not even the door. I was so messed up and was like, "Hey, I need to press charges on my dad," or whatever. I don't even remember like what all I was saying. And they laughed and entertained it for a little while. And they're like, "What does your dad do?" Da 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 da. And they know who my dad is because he's a deputy sheriff in the town. So they're just like, "What'd he do?"
uh,
And I was like, "He stole my car." So they were like, "You know what? You can put your hands behind your back. We're going to arrest you for, I think it drunk in public, disorderly
something.
conduct, and whatever. Whatever." So they took me back to jail. I remember trying to fight the officer and he had to push me back and I fell down and hit my head really hard. And I was like, "You're abusing me," and all this stuff. So then I threatened to off myself. And when you do that in jail, they take everything away from you and put
Everything.
you in
Yeah.
a paper suit if you're lucky, because they took all of my clothes. And except for my Ugg boots. And I was literally like kicking the cell door saying, "Let me out, let me out."
That's
And I
crazy.
had the whole little jail up that night screaming, "Let me out, let me out." Some people were like, "Shut the fuck up. We're trying to sleep." But then there was the other half of the jail that was like, "Let us out." I mean, it got rowdy. So the next morning,
Oh my God.
they at 6 a.m. they kicked me out of jail. So I'm the only person I've ever heard of that's been kicked out of jail, but they kicked me out. They called my dad and said, we can't handle her. She cannot stay here. You need to pick her up." And he's like, "Hell no, I'm not picking her up." And I called him and I was like, "Can you take me somewhere?" And he said, Don't even think about coming on my property, because if you even step foot on my property, I'm gonna call the police." And I'm thinking, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, everywhere I go, I'm either psych ward or police. I felt, like
Yeah,
not even a human anymore.
alienated.
I walked, yeah, I walked down the street. It was a Sunday, and I needed to charge my phone. So I went into a church, and I was the only white person that was in there, and they were just like, "Oh, honey, come on in." They were really sweet to me and like let me charge my phone and gave me some water. I had a black eye because I'd fallen off a bar stool 3 days earlier. I looked insane. Like fresh, yeah,
Man.
hadn't showered in
The Hot
days.
Mess Express.
But really bad. So I finally, like, my dad was like, "Fine." I don't know if he was willing to like come pick me up because I agreed to go to rehab. So we drove to the rehab, and the rehab was closed. So it was Sunday. So he was like, "All right, Amanda, I'm going to get you a hotel room for one night, but just promise me you're not going to do anything and you'll go to rehab tomorrow." And I'm like, "I promise." And I meant it, but immediately I walked to the gas station, got 2 bottles of wine and some Four Locos, and headed back to the hotel room. And I got my prescription refill that day because I was prescribed 1 milligram tabs, or a 1 milligram tab 4 times a day. And I got the refill. So I had 120 milligrams of Xanax on me. And I took both bottles, I drank, drank both bottles of wine. It was really drunk, and decided that I didn't want to live anymore because all this was like coming down on me. I
Right.
didn't even, like I said, feel like human. So because I had been drinking, I was finally brave enough to like take the action to try and kill myself, which I'd never been brave enough to do before. I'd threatened it probably a million times in my life, but never went as far as to like really, 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 really try. This time I meant it, and just chased it with a Four Loco. And the next thing I know, I'm not quite sure who I told or whatever, but the next thing I know, the police are knocking on the hotel door. And when I finally opened the door, I guess, and let them in, but there was ambulances, fire trucks,
They were
police
ready.
cars all outside this hotel. It was lit up like a damn like 4th of July. So they had to carry me out of the hotel, put me in the back of the ambulance, and rush me to the hospital that I actually work at now. um, they took me there, and they started trying to get IVs on me. I was super dehydrated and like just sick, and I kept ripping the IVs out and running down the hallway butt naked because I wanted a cigarette. I needed a cigarette really bad,
Understandable
apparently.
though.
So, and I
Understandable.
had no modesty. Yeah, just like butt naked, or at least the front of the gown on sometimes, but like the back, nah, just flailing in the wind because I needed a cigarette, but I could not get away. So they ended up strapping me down, so I was in restraints, like 4-point restraints, feet, hands tied to the bed. And that so I couldn't do anything else. Like I was trapped. And I remember like trying to make myself throw up so they would think I was sick. So they would like medically take care of me and like treat me like a human, because I felt like everybody just, I mean, everybody was very, very rude to me because I was insane.
Right.
Like anytime they let me use the phone, I would call like the boy I was dating and just be like, "You fucking asshole, like come pick me up. I'm trapped. They're keeping me hostage," and just creating such a scene. So I got sentenced, I guess. I don't even know what the word is. My dad went to the probate court and had a petition put on me, and I was made to stay in the psych ward for 2 weeks. Like I was not allowed out by the law, and that was the same psych ward that at the hospital I currently work at, which is crazy. And anyway, so I stayed in the psych ward for a couple of weeks. They ended up letting me out, and I just relapsed again. I was still in my relapse. That was just a little glimpse into my life of what it was like at the height of my relapse, you know? So, yeah, it's wild. I'm glad I don't have to live like that anymore, and I'm glad that my dad invites me now,
Right.
places. It's so different,
No,
so
that's
different.
crazy. I mean, talk about it's funny too that you said like, okay, I just got out and just immediately relapsed. Like it's not even like that was the moment that was like, oh shit. It's like, all right, fuck it. I'm still doing this. Yeah,
No,
like I'm still doing this. This is fine.
no,
This is fine. Like world's on fire.
yeah.
This is fine. And it's like,
Yep. No, the moment wasn't until I was listed on the most wanted and I was like mortified and terrified because I knew I was like, I'm not a good criminal. I knew if I'm like listed and they've got a warrant and they've got a reward for me,
right.
like there are
I'm gonna
people
turn
that know who
myself
I
in.
am and want money. Like I did
Right.
try. No, Hoagie, I tried. I tried to get somebody to turn me in
We'll
and we were
split
going to
it.
split the
Yeah, we'll
money.
split the money. That
But
never
my
works.
sponsor was like, "What are you No. Yeah, my sponsor was like, "Dude, no.
They'll just take the
We
money.
gotta take you tomorrow."
So your sponsor low
Yeah.
key kept the money and didn't tell you about it. They're
No, probably the lady that ran the rehab. She, like, hated me, I swear. She hated me the whole time I was there.
like, oh my
Yeah. She
gosh,
drove me down there.
that is so crazy.
Yeah. So, that's my life. It's
I mean, yeah, that
I'm so
was
grateful it's
yes,
not like that. Yeah. That was.
yes.
Exactly.
Active
Yeah.
addiction versus active recovery is quite the difference, to say the
Yeah.
No, that's
And I live just as wild and free and I have so much energy and activity going on in my life all the time just like I did. I was wild and crazy when I was out there, but like I try to live hard, like life as hard as I did while I was and they also say like chase your recovery with the same energy you chase your
right.
addiction with. If you give it that like umph as hard as you worked in your addiction to like try and stay sober, you will succeed. There is no doubt.
That's facts. I
Because
mean,
we did
dude,
anything. Yeah. We were willing to go to any lengths to stay drunk or high.
this is facts.
So,
This is facts.
yeah.
And I think just breaking out of that cycle is really tough. I mean, because I was so used to it, and like that's you went through way more than I ever have, and I don't personally think just like you. I mean, like I don't think that would have opened my eyes. I don't think I'd been like, oh, well, this has got to change. Like if I didn't want it, fuck it, send it, like send it. Like I don't know. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like. I understand
I
completely.
think at that point, I think at that point I was just wanting to get off the hard drugs and just see what alcohol could be like because I knew I was an alcoholic. Like I did know that.
Right.
I was not in denial. But I felt like I mean I just knew it was I wouldn't be like physically sick
Yeah.
if I didn't have it. But it is dangerous. You are physically sick. You do. I just was fooling myself. I was trying to change. I did that a lot. I would move locations and do a geographical cure or I would change the drug and replace it with another one. It never worked till I just surrendered and was like, I can not keep fighting and trying to like change how I feel. I've got to accept this and go through the pain of what it feels like to be sober. That was my fear of being sober was how it felt.
True. True. When you said you just brought it up, and that's a great point. You said surrender. When
Yeah.
you did surrender, so like, and I know you have a Christian like religious background, so to speak. Was that because of your
Yeah.
religion, you think, or was that just for the moment? Like when you finally said enough is enough, like was that because of a higher power, or was that just because you really, like? Because I'm still there with
Well,
that. I don't know.
I was very against religion at the point that I got sober in this recovery.
Right.
I had been like I had tried recovery and like I'd really tried to work my second step while I was sober through church and had a really bad experience. And then I've been to several Christian rehabs and have had bad experience. Not bad. There are some good things about it and there are some bad things about it. I have always had a good time at rehab, but it just wasn't for me. I can say that I'm not religious anymore. I'm spiritual. So I think this time when I surrendered and stopped fighting, yes, I think it was a higher power. but I don't know that it was because I was, like, in church seeking it. I was seeking it though. Like, I knew I needed God to face this, to go through this, and, like, I my prayer life became really strong as we were driving down to the jail to turn
Oh,
me
I
in,
bet.
and while I was sitting there, I had to wait 2.5 weeks for my court date to even know if they were gonna sentence me to the 54 months or how long I'd have to stay in jail. And then when I was supposed to get released, I found out there was another warrant on me, and I had to my dad helped me out because he paid the $800 to that little county jail, and I was able to get out. That was the only time he really helped me, but I think he knew I was like, I meant business this time
Right.
because I didn't call them from the jail every day and be like, "Can you please bail me out? Can you please bail me out?" I was facing
You
it.
sat with it.
And so, I, yeah, I think family knows when you're
Yes.
serious. I think they can also tell. My mom could always tell when I was not doing well or if I'd relapsed because I relapsed a lot. So she's always been able to tell. She can see it in my eyes every time
Yep.
if I'm sober or not.
That's a
I
fact.
look completely different.
That's a fact. And
Yeah.
I think you nailed it when you said your family knows. That's something that like my dad even he was like, "Hey, he's like, I'll help you this time." He's like, because back in the past, I mean, like I wouldn't say he's ever been an enabler, but he'd help me, like no questions asked. If you need a place to stay, whatever the case may be, like he's still gonna help me, but he had to put up boundaries
Yeah.
too because he knew I was fucking up and like I'm not getting ahead. And it's like, all right, what do I do? I think, and you talked about one of them. That was another question that we had, which is, I think, I think a lot of people get stuck on when you said higher power and you said you're not
Mhm.
religious, which is huge because a lot of, and you just said God. So you said like three things that trigger a lot of people because if you're not religious, but you say God,
Yeah.
how are you not religious? And it's like, well, it's a spiritual thing. So there's different avenues of recovery groups. And I kind of wanted to touch on that because I did do a little bit of research and I know you just talked about some of the Christian ones. Um, so let's see here. I got AA, obviously, and everybody knows AA for the most part, but I got a kind of like a pros and cons list. It's not a con, it's just more of like what would be a barrier for someone that
You're right.
wants to be in recovery, but okay, like so AA for instance, I have the pros as it's massive. It's 24/7. You can go on everything AA, you can go on a meeting at any time online, all the time. It's
Yes.
always available and it's free. But my cons were it is very repetitive. It is like you research the hell out of the book, so the book, the big book thumpers. Um, they will have an excerpt from
I
yes, everything.
was one.
Yes, and that's fine. And if it works for you, it works, and that's so fine. But some people are like, oh my God, like, that's not what I need right now, which is also fine. It has a big spiritual practice base on it, and it is very rigid. The flexibility, it's 12 step. This is the way. You don't go from 1 to 6 to 3 to 4 to like you go down the list and you do it right.
Yeah.
And you've
Right.
had a lot of experience with AA. You get what you get. You got to leave it at the door sometimes and go find another group. You know that more than most. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, I was committed to AA. Like, I do know the big book front and back. I know all of it. I but it's, I'm not as like a lot of people call AA a cult, and there's so many things that are culty about AA that it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
I've also heard people say it's brainwashing, but our brains need a little bit of washing.
Sure. No,
Those are just
facts.
little sayings I've heard. So I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, but I was very, very rigid. I went to a meeting every single day, and if I was off work, I went to two meetings that day. And it turns out that I was in a cult, but regardless of that, that's what a lot of AA is. You go to a meeting every day because you drank and used every day. So you kind of have to treat your recovery the
Make
same
the same
way.
space.
Um, yeah, that's how they kind of view it. I think a lot of people do their program that way, but not everybody. I think that a lot of people have spread their wings lately since COVID and like having to do things online, which is why there's like so many other recovery groups. I think more and more and more have come about because I know that the actual recovery group of Cali Sober is fairly new.
It is.
And it's an actual, that's something else you can talk about because you're more familiar with that. But it's actually got a book
Yes.
of 12 steps. They're just written differently. And it's trying not, I think it's more what science, would you call it like science based,
I would call it
psychology
trauma
based?
based almost. Yes, I would call it more trauma based
Okay.
approach. It's harm reduction, trauma based, I would say would be the best description I could say with it. Just because they're very accepting there. They don't care. You could even be in active addiction, and they're there to talk you through things. They have a mentorship program that is like I want to say it's 12 weeks long. I believe I could be mistaken. It's all on their page though, but their mentorship program is
Yeah.
legit. Like you actually they touch on a lot of peer support stuff, and I haven't seen it personally. I just have seen the results of the people who come out of that class and how they speak to people and how they help people is huge. It's not just bullshit classes.
Yeah.
It's something that they passionately want to do, and that's sponsors, and that touching on that. It. Quinn based this. He made it right, and he kind of based it a little bit off of like AA. Like he was an AA go,
Yeah.
but he knew the problems with that, and also I'm sure as of all of us, there's a lot of problems with sponsors, and just this is the fucking way. Like no, just because you did it this way doesn't mean it's gonna work your way. So their mentorship program
Yeah.
talks about that. And it's like, okay, let their recovery be their recovery. And that's when I was in peer support. That's what they tell you. It's like their recovery is theirs. Just because what you did work does not mean it'll
Yeah.
work for them.
And AA is not quite as flexible on that. And there's so many people more recently that have been like Cali sober, but it can't be honest about it in an AA
Right.
group. And honesty is like huge. It's key in recovery. Like no matter what you do or anything, honesty is huge. And so there's just so many people that were ashamed of it or having to hide it and like
You
not
get
able to
chastised,
use that
yeah.
as a part of their recovery or told they're not sober. And so I think that's what I like about Cali Sober because I'm abstinent and I even spoke in a meeting on Cali Sober, so I'm accepted. I'm Cali Sober too.
See,
You know what I
and
mean?
that's
Like I'm
so
all the
funny.
sobers. I'm
Yeah.
abstinent. Like I love the group. So,
And so, yeah, that goes
um,
to another one. We have the NA, which just that one covers all substances. It's more peer driven. It is also free. um, Runs along the lines of NA or A. I mean, it's kind of the same concept. But here's the fun fact about NA. Here's my problem, I guess, which isn't a problem, but I keep poking the bear with these groups. I keep asking them questions. Hey, if you drink in NA, are you sober? Are you clean? They say no, which is fine. That makes sense to me. I said, okay. Do you guys consider nicotine a drug? 80% of them said yes. I'm like, okay. Do they still smoke or drink? Yes. Or drink caffeine. Yes, because caffeine is also a drug.
right.
But then they're like, okay, well
Yeah.
that doesn't count though. That doesn't count because and it's like, okay, so you're making that judgment call of if it counts or not, because in the literature, a drug is a drug. So technically nicotine is a drug. Technically.
Yeah.
So technically not clean and so it's like that's the problem though, is you have one person that will be no nicotine, no caffeine, no awesome, like perfectly abstinent in everything, and they think that's the way. Which, if it is for them, that's so good. That's so good. But also, it's not the only way. So there's smart recovery. That's a science-based approach. I don't know a lot about that, but that one is very self-driven, science-backed. It has a lot of the psychology and a lot of what else does it have? Coping skills. It's self-driven. We have Dharma, which is more of, I guess, the Buddhist approach, you could call it. You have the refuge, which is more of regulation with your emotions, inner peace. It's kind of close to Dharma, kind of close to Buddha. I think they both play a part of each other.
I- They do. I've been to both. I like to a few of the meetings. I haven't worked the steps or done
Right.
or whatever they do, so I'm not even sure, but I just love the meditation and the sharing and everything. It's spiritual too. It's not definitely, not religious. I don't
Yes,
think they
spiritual.
push Buddhism on you or anything. I think it's more open to like whatever your perception of the universe or the higher power or whatever. I don't know. I love it. I
Yes.
love meditation.
And I think that's the biggest part too. And a lot of I think that's why I also when it comes to religions, I always just end up leaning towards Buddhism because they don't push you towards anything really. They just push you towards peace. And that's really what recovery is all about. So it's something that's easily, you know,
Yeah.
distinguished where like, even and I'm not shitting on Christianity or anything like that, but there's been wars over Christianity, it's like when was the last time you seen a
Yeah.
Buddhist fight a war? I and maybe
That's
maybe
true.
they have, but I'm pretty sure they're all about peace and they'll defend themselves if they need to. But anyways, off topic. Cali sober I already went over, and then you kind of talked on the Christian based ones like celebrate recovery. There's differences you
Yeah.
said, and I did not know that.
Yeah, Celebrate Recovery is really cool. It's like you go in and you do worship at first, which I've always loved worship. It's really good music, live
Right.
band, they got the drummers, they got the singers. It's really good and I mean, I enjoy doing that. And then you break off into small groups. And so most of the time you're in the same group, but they have like topics groups or like you can just go to the women's group or whatever. And they'll break off into groups. Seems like it's usually about 12 or 15 people
Okay.
go around and share if you want to. They don't go around the circle, but or at least that's been my experience going to CA. But I went a lot because I was in a Christian rehab for a long time and they would take us. That was one of the things that they would take us on the van to do on the rehab white van. I love it.
A white van.
And the white
I
van.
miss it.
I love the white van. We had so much fun on the white van. Yeah. But yeah, so they took us I guess every week probably. But I really any opportunity I got to get out of the rehab and go do something, I would go, but I liked CR. That was a good one. And then there's other groups. CA is another one, Cocaine Anonymous, which is
Okay.
more yeah, I really like CA. They're very open to more open than AA and NA, I think, as far as like you can be sober from any substance. Like, people aren't just going there for cocaine because I've smoked crack, I've shot cocaine, I've done all the things, but that's not what I was like doing at the end, but it didn't matter. Everybody's accepted there, and it's a good time. Every CA group I've been to was a really fun group of people. So I don't know what that is about it or what that says about it, but and a lot of young people go. Seems like I see a lot of yeah, a lot of young like groups, home groups and stuff where they end up getting together and being really good friends. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of that. AA too. I mean, you end up close to a lot of people. It's a great networking and getting to know other people is key in recovery too, even though it's hard, peopling is hard,
It really
but
is.
you got
It
to do it
really is.
sometimes.
Yeah, and just finding new people again is hard in general. That's why there's so many different recovery groups though too. It's like I don't want a friend, from AA that's gonna always quote the big book and that's their whole personality when we hang out outside of AA. Like I want someone that has
Yeah.
their own personality too, which a lot of people do. I'm not saying I've met a couple people like that, which is fine. And like again, if that's what gets them through, that's fine to them. But quality of life for me, I want to make sure I have time outside of meetings, which I still have to make time for me. But again,
Yeah.
hobbies, my recovery, not everyone else's. Like I don't know, I don't want to tell anyone else how to do it. And I got sick of other people telling me how to do my recovery. It's very detrimental.
Well, it's really cool to try all the different things and you'll find what vibes with you. I mean, I like all of it. So I'll do different types of meetings. I jump on the AA women's meeting, the international 24-hour meeting sometimes, and I jump on Cali sober meetings sometimes and jump on random like meditation groups or people's lives, which I would consider sometimes like a part of my recovery. Like if it's somebody that's a recovery focused person, I'll jump on there and like interact with
Sure.
them. You can do stuff online, yeah, but in person is awesome too. Like I feel like a good balance. It's good to have people in person too, and that's something I'm struggling with because I recently moved to a new city and I need to go to more in person meetings and like plug in and make some buddies. I don't really have any where I live. And I'm
Same.
okay with that, but, like, I also need that for my recovery.
Yep. Nope. I
So,
understand completely. I'm in
yeah.
the same boat. It's hard because it's tough, we're so used to, and now we're also defensive, I guess, of our recovery. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
associate with people that I don't align with, but again, like you said, we
Yeah.
need to plug into these meetings because most of the time they'll align with enough that it's like, all right, you're a good human being. You're trying your best. We like this thing, because I need some more fishing friends. But at the same time, I don't want to fish with a friend that's going to drink the whole time like I used to. And I don't know how, God bless. I don't know how my
Yeah.
friends used to deal with me. Whew, especially at the end. But oh man, I'm just one day at a time, right?
Yeah.
One day at a time.
You'll find your people. We'll find our people. They're out
This is
there.
true. This is true.
But we have to get out of the house to find
This
them.
is true. This is true. I think that's everything we had. What else? What you got?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, nothing. I was gonna say it can be intimidating to get out of the house and go to a meeting, and I understand that, but um, it, you'll meet somebody. I just know I finally went to my first meeting and met somebody that first night that invited me to another meeting. So it's okay. It's okay. But I'm telling that to myself. Okay,
Right, right,
I
right.
need to get out of the house and go to a meeting. So maybe that'll be another podcast episode for us to talk about me going and making some friends.
True. Yeah, I got to challenge myself to do it too, and maybe see we can do a race and see
Yeah.
who actually gets it done first and who's full of shit. Hold myself accountable because I'm gonna be like,
Right.
yeah, I want to go, but the podcast and all this other stuff.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's all we
Well,
had.
all right.
Yeah, do you have any other burning
Yeah.
desires or anything else you want to go over?
I don't think so. I enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, it was
This was
nice
good.
catching
Thank
up.
you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you
Yeah.
making time. I know we're both busy, so we're gonna lock back in, guys. Click all the things, like all the stuff, give us feedback, give us questions. Everything's been great so far. Oh, actually, let's close out with this. We have hit 100 listeners on various platforms.
Yes.
So that is incredible. Give yourself a round of applause, everyone, including ourselves. That's pretty great.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you so much to all the listeners because that's huge. I mean, that's 100 people have actually listened to what we had to say,
Yes.
and we've met some people through that actually online, obviously, but I've got definitely some people commenting that are regulars and everything, and that are excited about our next episodes. So thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. And we will continue to push it out. We're gonna hopefully eventually here find some more avenues to have guests. This one should work, but we haven't done a third person yet. So whenever we do, we just needed someone to be patient with us because it might get a little weird at first, but it will be fine. Trial and error
It's
is
fine.
what this is all about, and trying new things out because that's recovery. The new shit is better than the old stuff that didn't work.
Exactly.
Well,
I love that.
yep, with that, we are going to close out. This is Limitless Recovery. I am Hoagie here with the most wanted RN. PRN now. PRN.
Yes.
PRN.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
exactly.
make sure we get our dot our I's. But yeah, we really appreciate everyone. So we're gonna close out and we'll try to do more normalcy. We're gonna schedule together and let you guys know exactly what the release will be. It's still Riverside, so I'm not sure when I post it. Sometimes it's the first day and sometimes it's the second day. So just depending on what you listen to. So again, appreciate y'all. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone.